you said after the game you told me you're only good for about 25 yards. How far do you think? Well, I never saw the replay. How far did that one actually go, probably?
It probably might have been 25, about 25 or 30.
You know, you look at kind of how Coach Artson kind of in Eli kind of find ways to continue to be creative and innovative with this offense. And what does it mean to you guys as players? I mean, did you ever think you would have thrown a pass this season at the beginning of the year?
Never would have thought it. Like I said last night, I've never thrown a pass in a game since I've been playing football. And I've been playing for a really long time.
I guess Holden was trying to tell the coaches that he wanted to get in a cool play or something at some point. Were you pushing to try to get in a play like that, or?
I wasn't, but they asked me to do it, and I got a little audition at practice, and once again it got there. So we repped it for about 2 weeks. It was in last week. We didn't run it. We kept repping it all week at practice, and they called it.
You said at the beginning last time that was one of the rare plays where you were nervous. What was that like when the play actually did finally come in? And I think you were in the slot when you lined up, right? What was that like?
Chaz didn't really help the situation because as we're lined up, Chaz is telling me, we're going to check it, because he thinks they're bringing a blitz to our side where we're lined up at. So that immediately presented some nervousness, and then they didn't check it. So I'm like, all right, I don't know what's going on now. And so I'm looking at the ball snap, Brett throws it. When I catch it and I look up, I see Thomas just running down the field. So at that point, I knew we were okay.
Did you practice? You know, I mean, not even just the play in practice, but I mean, did you practice throwing more over the last couple of weeks with the glove on or whatever?
During special teams that I'm not on, any special team that I'm not on, I just went over there with the quarterbacks and we repped it. We repped the play about 2 times every time I could.
You know, just kind of getting back to it. I mean, what was your, more so than your reaction when they called the play, what was your reaction when they came to you with, we're going to put this play in the game? I mean,
I thought they were joking at first, but they were serious because they said it would be unpredictable. So I think that's a big reason why it worked, because it was unpredictable.
When does that first happen? Is that in a position meeting, a team meeting? How does a play like that first come in?
Beginning of the week, they come in. They'll probably ask you, think you can throw? You know, I gave them my 25 yards, and then from there, we just went from there.
That's very specific. I mean, you've been testing yourself over the years, and then that's as far as you can throw it? Or what?
As a receiver, you know, every day when you come out of practice, you warm up, you got to throw the ball, you know, play catch. And I just kind of noticed, you know, I get a little inaccurate after about 25, so I just let them know. If it's over 25, you might want to take me out of that.
Everybody, you know, people kind of teasing about the quality of the pass. Have you seen it on film? What do you think of your throw?
Yeah, I did see it. It was a pretty bad ball, but it was in the right spot, so I'll take that as a win.
I asked Eli after the game. He said, "There's no such thing as an ugly touchdown pass."
Yeah, I guess so. I agree with that.
I know you said after the game that you've been trying to get in the end zone, and you'll take it any way you can get it. I mean, how do you look at how the season's gone for you? You know, at receiver and the amount of action you're getting, and just that you're involved in the offense so far.
I mean, yeah, I've actually been getting it a lot of different ways, but it's all we're just moving forward from it, and I think this week I got even more stuff down the field, and things are starting to work, and we're open. I feel like J-Mac's opening up for Thomas, and Thomas is opening up for Chaz, and Chaz is opening up for me every week with just so many different people scoring and making plays.
Frustrating at all as a senior that you hadn't gotten in the end zone yet?
It was, but I think that pass kind of uplifted my spirits for the year.
Is it impressive that again, just kind of getting back to the creativity on offense after all these years, that they still just find different ways? I mean, does that excite you guys as players that they still try to find ways to, you know, the touchdown pass, the hold, and all that little stuff?
Yeah, coming in on Mondays, we never know what to expect with these coaches. You never know. It's always a surprise. That's kind of one of the joy of coming in every day.
Do you think that makes it more difficult for the opposing teams? Because if they're thinking of things that you guys might not think of, that it makes it even harder for whoever the other team is?
I definitely do. And then, like I said, when you have so many explosive players on offense, it just makes it even harder because you got to pick your poison. You never know where it's going to come from.
I think you passed Titus Young for third place on the all-time receptions list, 205 now. I mean, I know you're in the moment right now, but do you allow yourself to kind of realize what kind of career you're putting together here and what you have a chance, how you can possibly finish this out, you know?
Not really. I kind of really just focus on us really getting the win. Because honestly, I didn't even know how many catches I had last night until about 15 minutes ago. I haven't even looked or anything. So it's just we're just focusing on winning every week. Because if we continue to win, then it's just more exposure for everybody.
What's the challenge for you guys this week with the short week, two road, both of them being road games, and Barstow saying two very physical opponents as well? What kind of challenges this week present to you guys as players?
We just got to continue to play discipline and play as a team, and just trust our scheme. Because I feel like the last 4 weeks we've been doing that, and we came out with some pretty good wins.
Does it start to take a toll? I mean, you guys haven't had a bye week yet, and you've traveled quite a bit. Does it start to wear on you a little bit?
I don't think the traveling really wears on us. I just feel like it's all about going out there and executing your plan.
I'm sure you prefer to have 12 games here at Albertson Stadium, but when do road games, I mean, is there a certain point during the game where they become fun for you guys in a way?
Yeah, like Chadd said, when you see everyone leaving after being harassed the whole game, sitting there on the bench, it's a great feeling just watching those people leave.
Are some places more hostile than others, regardless of how many people are there? I mean, do certain schools, or do you have fans really enjoy it?
Yeah, because a couple teams put the student sections behind our benches, so that's where it gets pretty funny during the game. Like Virginia, we had some noise. I know last year in New Mexico we had guys behind us, and then this week we always have guys. Last time I went to Colorado State, it was just like that. We have guys behind us always just talking, and it's funny.
What's the funniest thing someone's ever said to you?
Really, honestly, when I just hear him say my name, we just tone them out. We just don't even listen to them. But it's just some of them you just hear, even though you try to tone them out.
You just mentioned this kind of tough stretch. I mean, did you kind of see this? I don't know, maybe before the season when you looked at the schedule, or at some point where you had 3 out of 4 road games. You had Virginia, then you go back to back in conference play, and at least going into the season looked like these would be maybe your 2 hardest games in conference, back to back on the road. I mean, did you kind of know coming in this was going to be a key stretch for you guys?
I didn't, honestly, until about last week when they said that we had 2 road games. I didn't, but I think we'll handle it pretty well. I think we're resting up today, and then tomorrow we're gonna come out like it's Tuesday, and everything's moved up today since we play on Friday, and I think we're gonna keep our bodies fresh this week, and we're gonna come out with the win at the end.
Have you seen Utah State at all this year, and if not, what do you remember from last year about the defense?
They're really physical. And I remember last year going into the game, they said that they had the best defense in the conference. So we're going to accept that challenge once again, and we're going to go out and we're going to try to execute our schemes.
Chancellor talked about a goal on defense being stopped in those sustained drives, those long sustained drives. And you've had so many big plays, you haven't had that many sustained drives on offense lately. Is that a focus on offense, is to get long sustained drives going?
Me personally, I think if we can get an explosive play and score him immediately, then I'm all for it.
What's it been like to see Thomas kind of explode? I mean, the kid's got like 500 yards receiving over the last 4 games.
Same thing I've said last year. I told you, he reminds me of Matt. He's got it. He's got it all.
Obviously, probably not quite physically. I mean, he's smaller than Matt. So how does he remind you of Matt then?
His ball skills, his amazing ball skills.
Short week like this, what do you cut out of your week to try to make sure that you get everything done you need to get done with one less day?
It doesn't really affect. I don't feel like it really affects it moving the game up. It's just, school. But other than that, I feel like we still have the same amount of time and all that. With them, they just basically get our mindsets. The days are changed. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and we have the same amount of time every day.
Does it help being a veteran and having been through this regimen a number of times before?
Yeah, I think it does. And then even going to the same stadiums I've already played at, it's kind of, you already have a feel for it.
You mentioned Matt. Now you guys have him back on staff. What's he kind of meant to the receiving group, and what's it been like? He was kind of a player coach, the last couple of years, but now that he's an actual, coach, what's it been like having him helping you guys out?
It's just good having input of someone who just played last year, and he's all-time leading receiver, so he knows a lot of stuff.
You got a chance to take that crown over, though, if you finish it out the season strong here. You said anything to him about that, or?
No, I haven't said anything to him about it, but he's kind of always been my coach, because when I came in as a freshman, I didn't know much, and they put Matt on me. He was kind of the guy who had to take me through the ropes, so it's kind of always seen him that way.
this is probably, I mean, this is obviously just coincidence, but what is it about the state of Utah? Because each time you've played a game there, you've had over 10 catches.
I don't know what it is, but I have no problem with continuing that trend.
You said last night that Brett is doing what you guys expected, but what he's doing as a true freshman is very out of the ordinary. So what was it that you guys saw that you expected him to play like this?
Just the way he prepares and he goes into every practice. He does the things you see in the game are the same things we see in practice, and I just think he's doing a good job of staying poised and staying in the pocket and making the throws that he needs to make.
To go into a hostile situation like that and first third down of the game, I don't know if you've seen it, but he got hit pretty hard and delivered that ball right where it needed to be to you. I mean, that just kind of give you guys confidence as an offense to see something like that?
Yeah, it does. He took a couple of those throughout the game. I think the long deep when he had the Chadd on the sideline, he took another one, and it seems like every time I look up walking back, I see him getting up off of the ground. So I know he takes a lot of hits, but to see a guy get up like that every play, you gotta rally behind him.
You ever seen him grimace or get up slow? I mean, it never really seems like he does.
No, he takes it, he gets up, and he's looking to the sideline for the play.
Last week we were talking to Junior Adams, and he said that well before Brett was even in the mix to play this year, he was a kid that was in the film room at 6:30 in the morning by himself, the lights off, watching film.
Yeah, like I said, he prepares, and he's never surprised because he's out there. He prepares before the game.
Is it impressive that a kid that age knows how to prepare, though? I mean, I'm assuming that's kind of a trait that you guys kind of learn over time of what you need to see and when you need to see it and all that stuff.
I mean, Brett's a smart kid. I mean, I think he was a valedictorian in high school. So, I mean, in order to do that, you have to prepare in school, and for grades and that kind of stuff. So I feel like it's already in him.
Along the lines of preparing, when you watch video on Utah State or whomever, what are you looking for?
As a receiver, we're just trying to see what kind of technique the DB play. If they play off, they play press, are they aggressive, are they soft, that kind of stuff.
Is that something that you kind of accumulated and learned from, I guess, from freshman year to now?
Yes, it has. I mean, freshman year, I wasn't really looking to get off of press. I was probably running the screen, so I wasn't too much worried about it.
That's good. Thanks, Nate.
Thank you, Joe.